Have you ever done something kind when no one was watching, something so small, yet so pure that it didn't need recognition? This is the story of a girl who had nothing yet still chose to give, a simple act. A shared sandwich, but little did she know, someone was watching everything. Maya was a quiet 16-year-old girl who lived with her mother in a tiny rented room behind a grocery store. Life had never given her much to smile about, but she never complained. Every morning she woke up before sunrise, helped her mother pack lunchboxes for neighbors, and then walked 4 miles to school because they couldn't afford the bus. Her classmates came in shiny cars, holding branded backpacks and expensive snacks. Maya came in worn-out shoes and a faded school uniform that had been stitched more times than she could count. She never had breakfast. Most days she didn't even have lunch. Her mother worked 2 jobs just to pay rent, so food was a luxury they rationed carefully. Still, Maya loved going to school, not for the lessons but for the little moments she could sit by the window and dream of a future where her mother didn't have to work so hard, dream of a life where kindness wasn't rare. One day, her mother managed to pack her a small sandwich, just 2 slices of bread with a thin layer of butter. Maya hadn't eaten properly in 2 days, and the sight of that sandwich made her heart flutter with happiness. She wrapped it carefully in newspaper and placed it gently inside her bag like treasure. On her way to school, she passed an empty lot where stray dogs often gathered, searching through garbage for scraps. Most people walked past them with disgust, shooing them away as if they were pests. But Maya always slowed down, her eyes softening whenever she saw their ribs showing through their skin. That morning, one of the dogs, a small brown one with trembling legs, locked eyes with her. Its tail wagged weakly, as if asking, "Do you see me?" Maya stopped walking. Her stomach growled painfully, reminding her she hadn't eaten. But as she looked at the dog, she saw something familiar: hunger. Loneliness, hope. Slowly, she reached into her bag and pulled out her sandwich. Her hands shook not because she was scared, but because she knew this was her only meal for the day. But she didn't hesitate. She knelt down and placed the sandwich gently in front of the dog. "It's okay," she whispered softly. "You need it more than I do." The dog sniffed it cautiously before gobbling it hungrily, tail wagging faster. Maya smiled, her own hunger fading beneath a warmth she couldn't describe. As she stood up, ready to continue her walk, she didn't notice the man standing across the street watching her carefully. A stranger. Silent, observing, and deeply moved. By the time Maya reached school, the dizziness had started. Her stomach felt painfully empty, but she tried to ignore it. She sat at her desk quietly while other students exchanged snacks and laughed loudly. "Did you see her again? She's always wearing the same clothes." One of the girls whispered loudly enough for Maya to hear. Another laughed. "Maybe she doesn't even have a washing machine." Maya kept her eyes on her book, pretending not to hear. She had mastered the art of silence. When the bell rang for lunch break, her classmates rushed out excitedly, opening packets of chips, burgers, and fries. Maya stayed seated. She had nothing to eat, but she didn't want anyone to notice. Her friendless table was a sharp contrast to the noisy cafeteria. Suddenly, her vision blurred. She blinked rapidly, but everything spun. A sharp wave of weakness washed over her. She tried to stand, but her legs gave out. She collapsed to the floor. Gasps erupted around her. Is she sick? Did she faint? Someone call the teacher. But instead of rushing to help, some students just stood there staring. Others whispered, "Maybe she's pretending." The school nurse arrived and helped Maya to the infirmary. "When was the last time you ate?" she asked gently. Maya hesitated. "Yesterday. A little." The nurse sighed. "Child, you can't go on like this." But Maya just closed her eyes. She didn't want pity. She just wanted peace. After school, Maya walked home slowly, her body weak but her spirit unchanged. She passed the same empty lot, and the brown dog ran toward her, wagging its tail happily. Despite her exhaustion, she smiled and patted its head. "I don't have food today," she whispered, "but I promise I'll come back tomorrow." She didn't know that someone else had followed her, the same man who had seen her that morning, the same man who had been thinking about her all day. The next morning, Maya woke up, ready to repeat her routine. She didn't expect anything to change, but life had different plans. As she opened the door to leave, she froze. There, outside her house, lay a large box. Confused, she approached it slowly. Inside were loaves of bread, packets of milk, fruits, biscuits, and even dog food. Her heart stopped. There was a note on top. She picked it up with trembling hands. Kindness never goes unnoticed. Yesterday, you gave away your only meal. Today, someone gives back. A friend watching. Tears filled her eyes. She looked around, but no one was in sight. She quickly filled her bag with food, not for herself first, but for the dog. When she reached the empty lot, the brown dog was waiting eagerly. This time, she didn't just give it scraps, she fed it properly, tears falling as she watched it eat with joy. "See," she whispered softly, "the world can be kind." From that day on, every morning, she found food on her doorstep, not just for her, but for her mother, and for the stray dogs too. Someone out there, someone unseen, had become her guardian. Hope returned to her life, one sandwich at a time. Kindness doesn't always come from the rich. Sometimes those who have little give the most, and sometimes the world answers back in beautiful ways. So if you ever feel invisible, keep being kind, because someone, somewhere, is watching